I teach because it's important, right? So the stuff that we're teaching these kids is actually fundamentally important to how the world is going to look in the future. And if they don't get it, if they don't understand why it's important, then things might go badly for us.
There are so many things about Nick that make him an excellent teacher. He's just really well connected to the kinds of content that students are interested in. Like, he really understands pop culture really well. He also incorporates Te Ao Māori work into his courses and seems to have such a great sense of what students are really interested in.
You have to make sure that the students care about the things that they're meant to be learning, because otherwise they just won't. So in order to get that kind of excellence in teaching, you've got to drive home this idea that the stuff you're doing matters.
I think that he's just really successful at creating a rapport with the students. He does a lot of his teaching online, so it's asynchronous, and yet he still manages to forge these relationships with them where they feel like they know him, even though they're never present in the room at the same time.
He does all the basic things really, really well, but he's also just has this amazing presence in that he can be clever and funny and engaging when he's there in front of a classroom.
So I only did papers with Nick online. I did online papers with him. And the thing that stood out with me was that his personality wasn't lost through the online form.
He'll find an angle to get the students interested. The way that he engages them is there'll be a funny cartoon or a meme, which is the kind of thing that they might encounter on social media, and he uses that to pull them in and then takes them somewhere where they're not expecting, and they probably don't even notice that they're learning all this stuff until they reflect on it afterwards.
I try and get the kind of jokes and the visuals and the kind of asides and offhand comments and things and build them into the framework of what I'm teaching them, so that students are getting this idea that it's a whole kind of connected infrastructure of work that they're doing.
He's also done a lot to encourage people to move away from the standard ways that they think about online teaching. So the institution can start to move away from Zoom classes and try some different things because he's shown that you can make them work.
I think the most standout thing about Nick is that he really changes students' lives. It's something that a lot of us want to do as teachers, but I've read a lot of his feedback from students and it's really clear that he actually does change their lives. And I think it's through choosing the right kinds of content and then structuring the course in a way that allows them to really delve deeply into that, and so they have significant learning experiences.
He just really cares that students succeed, removes all barriers possible. He's always sending out reminders for assignments and makes life as easy as possible for students to succeed. And I get the feeling that that's because he really cares about his students. Even though there's distance there with the online learning, he somehow manages to minimise that, which was really cool.
It feels like it's really important to make sure that as much as possible, the future generations actually have an understanding of what's going on. If I can help with that in any way, then it feels like it's a really good thing to do.